You ever notice how fear controls almost everything we do? How it quietly dictates our choices, our silence, our hesitation? We don't talk to someone we like because we fear rejection. We don't take the risk because we fear failure. We stay where it's safe and call it peace. But deep inside, we know it's fear wearing a mask. Welcome to Stoic Mindset. In this video, we're not here to run from fear. We're here to look it straight in the eye. Because the truth is, fear isn't your enemy. It's your greatest teacher. And once you understand that, it loses all power over you. So listen carefully. Don't just watch, feel this. Because by the end of this video, you won't just think differently about fear. You'll live differently. Fear is born in the mind. It doesn't come from the outside world. It grows from our own imagination. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Today, I escaped anxiety." Or no, I discarded it, for it was within me, in my own perceptions. That means the monsters we fight every day aren't out there. They're inside us. You imagine the worst before it happens. You feel pain before anything even touches you. You lose sleep over futures that might never come. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." And he was right, because most of what you fear never actually happens. But every time you feed that fear with thought, it grows stronger. It becomes a prison built by your own hands. But here's the truth. You hold the key. The moment you realize fear exists only in your perception, you start to take your power back. You begin to see that fear is nothing more than a story, one that you can rewrite at any time. And when that realization hits you, you become dangerous, because nothing external can truly control you anymore. The Stoics taught that there are only two things in life, what you can control and what you can't. Fear thrives in the space where we confuse the two. We spend years worrying about outcomes, about other people, about the future, things that were never ours to command. Epictetus said, "Some things are in our control, and others are not." Simple words, but they hold the power to free you completely. You can't control how others treat you. You can't control what tomorrow brings, but you can control your response. And that's everything. When you stop chasing control over what was never yours, fear dies on its own, because fear feeds on uncertainty. And when you accept uncertainty, it starves. The Stoic man doesn't resist the storm. He doesn't run from it either. He stands, calm and ready, knowing that he was never meant to control the wind, only his own sail. That's what makes him unshakable. Every fear you feel is a direction. It's not a signal to stop. It's a compass pointing exactly where you need to go. The thing you fear most is usually the thing that will transform you. The Stoics called this the obstacle is the way. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Fear is not a wall. It's a test to see how badly you want to grow. If you fear speaking, it means you need to speak. If you fear failure, it means you must try. If you fear rejection, it means you must stand your ground anyway. Because every time you act in spite of fear, something sacred happens inside you. Your courage expands. Your confidence grows. And your old, limited self begins to fade away. The man who avoids fear lives safely, but dies small. The man who faces it lives fully, even if he falls. Fear loses its power the moment you walk through it. There's one fear that sits deeper than all others, the fear of death. The Stoics didn't avoid this truth. They meditated on it daily. Memento Mori, remember, you will die. Now that sounds dark, but to the Stoic, it's not. It's clarity. Because when you truly understand that time is limited, you stop wasting it. You stop fearing embarrassment. You stop delaying your dreams. You stop living for approval. Seneca said, "Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing." If death is certain, then fear becomes meaningless. Because what can fear take from you that life won't eventually take anyway? Think about it. If you knew this was your last day, would you still care what they think? Would you still hold back your words? Would you still be afraid to start? When you meditate on mortality, you awaken gratitude. You live lighter, freer, and more courageously. You realize that fear can't stop you. It can only distract you from what truly matters. But here's something most people don't want to hear. Suffering is necessary. No one becomes strong in comfort. No one finds wisdom in ease. Every great mind, every Stoic, was forged through pain. Epictetus was born a slave, beaten and humiliated. But he said, "Difficulties show what men are." That's not philosophy, that's truth. Your challenges are not punishments, they are teachers. You say life is unfair, but it's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to shape you. Every heartbreak, every failure, every night you cried alone was chiseling away the weak parts of you, so the stronger version could emerge. So don't ask, why me? Ask, what is this teaching me? Because every time you overcome fear, you gain strength. And every time you run from it, you lose a piece of your soul. Fear can't survive inside a person who has already made peace with pain. Because pain is not the enemy, it's the path to power. And in all of this, the Stoics discovered one final truth. Stillness is strength. In a world that screams for attention, the calm man is feared the most. Because stillness is not silence, it's control. It's the ability to remain centered while everything around you burns. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength." Fear thrives in noise, overthinking, rushing, panic. But when you slow down, when you breathe, you create space between what happens and how you respond. And in that space lies your freedom. You can't stop the storm, but you can choose not to be swept away by it. That's stillness. That's mastery. Every time fear rises, stop running, breathe, return to the present. Because fear cannot survive in the now. It only lives in the past or the future. Right here, right now, you are safe. And that's where power lives. Fear will visit you again. It always does. But the next time it comes knocking, don't run. Welcome it. Smile at it. Because now, you understand what it really is. An opportunity to rise. Remember, fear exists only in your mind. It cannot touch your soul unless you allow it. You control your response, not the outcome. The obstacle before you is the way forward. Death reminds you to live now. Suffering builds your strength. And stillness, that calm, unshakable peace within, is your greatest power. So when fear whispers, "What if you fall?" you whisper back, "Then I'll rise stronger." That's what it means to be stoic. Not to live without fear, but to live above it. Because the man who masters his fear, masters himself. And the one who masters himself, is finally free. Voice slows, closing line. This is Stoic Mindset. Thank you for watching. If this message spoke to you, share it. Because somewhere out there, someone needs to be reminded that fear is not the end, it's the beginning.